Welcome to Digital Vibes, the podcast for short deep dives on AI, tech, and digital living.
All right, so you know how everyone's saying whoever controls AI controls the world?
Yeah, it's a pretty catchy line.
Well, today we're diving deep into this whole AI power struggle thing.
You know what's really hit me? AI isn't some far-off thing anymore.
So we're not just talking about fancy robots then. We're talking like AI deciding who has the real power.
Exactly. And think about this. AI is getting smarter by the day.
Yeah.
The point that we might be at this turning point
Okay.
where AI decides which countries or even which companies are really in charge.
That's kind of unnerving when you put it that way. It makes you wonder why everyone's suddenly in this mad rush to be the AI king, you know?
Well, the obvious answer is money and power. AI can make a country's economy way more productive, gives them a huge edge over everyone else. But it's more than just GDP.
So like what else then? Is it all about national security, or who's the top dog globally?
Part of it, yeah. AI is totally changing things like military tech, cybersecurity, even surveillance. Think about facial recognition. It used to be just in spy movies, right?
Yeah.
Now governments are using it everywhere. Border control, crime prevention, the whole 9 yards.
It's wild. Kind of feels like we're living in a sci-fi movie, but it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And AI's impact on scientific breakthroughs is crazy, too.
Totally. It's changing how we tackle the biggest problems we face. Like, imagine AI sifting through tons of data on climate change
Right.
to figure out the best ways to fight global warming, or analyzing complex proteins to come up with new drugs for deadly diseases faster.
It's like AI is this cheat code for solving humanity's toughest problems. You know, everyone wants to be number one, whether it's countries like the US and China or these big tech companies like Google and Microsoft. What's behind this fierce competition?
It boils down to control, right? Who has the influence? Countries see AI as their ticket to being on top in terms of technology and the global economy.
Okay.
Like a new space race, but for AI. But here's the thing. It's not just countries in this race. Companies are building these super powerful AI systems too. And it makes you wonder who's really calling the shots.
Yeah, it's like the line between governments and companies is getting all blurry because of AI. But with all this talk about progress and who's on top, there's got to be a downside, right? You know, what if all this power ends up in the wrong hands?
Exactly. The smarter AI gets, the bigger the chance it can be used for bad stuff. Like mass surveillance. Imagine AI watching your every move, everything you do online, and using that to control you.
Creepy, right? Total Big Brother vibes, but amplified. And then there's weaponized AI, like machines making life or death decisions without a human involved. That's terrifying.
The ethics of AI in warfare are a total mess. What happens when machines are deciding who lives and who dies in a battle? Who takes the blame when an algorithm screws up and people get killed?
Yeah.
These are questions we need to figure out, like now.
And it's not just war. What about AI making the gap between rich and poor even bigger?
That's a huge worry. Imagine if only rich people can access advanced AI, like the best medical diagnoses or education tools. It'll just leave everyone else further behind.
So are we headed for some dystopian future where AI is the dictator?
Not necessarily. It's not just about who has the best AI, it's about who actually rules it. And that's not just about having the best tech.
Okay, I'm curious. What does ruling AI even mean? It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel.
It's about steering AI in the right direction, setting rules for how it can be used, and basically making sure it benefits humanity as a whole. The people ruling AI won't just be the ones writing code. They'll be the ones making the ethical and legal frameworks that shape how it's developed and used.
So it's like shaping the soul of AI, making sure it reflects our values and helps us instead of hurting us. That's a big responsibility. But what would a future look like where one entity, whether it's a country or a company, holds the keys to ruling AI?
Well, let's explore that, shall we? In part 2.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes, so please subscribe. And if you enjoy the show, leave a comment. Now let's dive back in and explore the future of tech together.
All right, so we were just about to jump into this crazy idea where one group, a country, a company, I don't know, ends up being like the ultimate AI overlord.
Yeah, kind of sci-fi, right?
Yeah, totally. It's a real possibility.
Right, and it's worth thinking about. Like, what if one power gets to decide all the rules for AI around the world? They'd control everything, from data privacy laws to the ethical guidelines for how AI is made. That could totally change the global power dynamic, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. On the one hand, having one set of rules for everyone could be good, make things more organized in the AI world. But on the other hand, what if that power is abused? Or it kills innovation because everyone has to follow the same playbook.
Exactly. It's a balancing act. Think about healthcare, for instance. Imagine if one entity had the key to, like, amazing AI diagnostic tools
Right?
that could revolutionize healthcare worldwide. But what if they use that power to decide who gets access to those tools?
Yeah, scary thought.
So some people benefit and others are left behind.
It's like we're so close to this amazing future with AI, but there's this dark side looming right beside it. It really feels like we're at a fork in the road, and the choice we make decides the fate of AI and how it affects humanity.
We are, and that's why it's so important to talk about this stuff now before it's too late.
Yeah.
It also brings up the possibility of AI actually making the world more cooperative. Like, what if instead of fighting for dominance, countries and companies work together, pool their resources and knowledge to develop AI for everyone's benefit?
I like that idea better, like an AI peace treaty instead of an AI arms race. Do you really think AI could help countries overcome their differences and work together like never before?
It's definitely worth considering. Imagine AI helping us make breakthroughs in clean energy or sustainable farming or fighting pandemics, not just for one country, but for everyone on the planet. That's the kind of future we should aim for.
I like the sound of that. It changes the whole story around AI. Instead of being afraid of it, we could use it to solve some of the biggest problems we face together. It feels like we're all holding our breath, waiting to see which way AI takes us, down a path of power and control or a path of collaboration and progress. So how do we make sure this story has a happy ending? It's easy to feel overwhelmed, like our individual choices don't matter, but we can't just sit back and watch this happen.
Absolutely. Even small actions can make a difference. Think about how algorithms control the information you see online. Do you know how companies are using your data to train AI? These are things we all need to be aware of.
It's about becoming more mindful, more conscious of how we interact with technology, making sure our choices support the kind of future we want. But how do we go beyond individual actions and actually change the systems that govern AI?
That's where working together comes in. Imagine everyone demanding more transparency from the companies developing AI. That kind of pressure can really force change to happen.
It's about using our collective voice to demand a future where AI serves us, not the other way around.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff. It's also about supporting the good ways AI can be used. Imagine backing research into AI tools that can catch diseases early, tailor education to each student, or help build more eco-friendly cities.
It's about shifting our focus from fear to opportunity. AI has the potential to be an amazing force for good if we steer it in the right direction.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hopeful, right? Knowing we're not just pawns in this whole AI game, that we have some say in how it all plays out. But honestly, where do we even begin? This is complicated stuff. Like, do you ever think about how those algorithms decide what news you see online? Or what products they're always trying to sell you? Even who pops up in your friends' suggestions?
It's true. It's like we're constantly being steered in certain directions by these invisible forces. And yeah, I guess the first step is realizing those forces are even there.
Exactly. And then there's that whole data privacy thing. Do you know how all your online activity, the websites you visit, the stuff you buy, is being used to train those AI algorithms? Reading this excerpt actually reminded me of something the computer scientist Alan Kay once said: the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And we can invent the future of AI. It's not some predetermined destiny. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely. Keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and keep shaping that future. It's in your hands now.